I'm here. I'm on time this time.
I have to speak to you about something. Your tenure at this establishment is coming to an end.
What? But why? This is my third job this month. I just got fired from the Grease Trapper fried chicken joint.
I have witnessed some disturbing behavior, and so have our customers. Picture this: you walk into a store innocently seeking some retail therapy, when suddenly, you're faced with a cashier straight out of a horror movie. This so-called cashier looks like she just crawled out of a dumpster, with hair that defies gravity and a face that could stop a clock. You really would wonder if she's auditioning for a role as the villain in a B-grade horror flick. As I approached, I realized this isn't just any cashier. This is the gatekeeper of my shopping experience, the one who holds the power to make or break my day. But instead of a warm greeting, I'm met with a grunt that could rival a grizzly bear. I barely was able to maintain my composure, but as she fumbled with my items, I wondered if she's intentionally trying to make my experience as awkward as possible. It's like she was playing a game of how many ways can I make this transaction uncomfortable. Finally, as I hand over my payment, I noticed her hands are covered in ... something. I don't even want to know what it was. I quickly grabbed my bag and practically ran out of the store, vowing never to return ... Does that sound like a good review to you?
What the fuck? Is that garbage even real? I don't think that's real.
Here, let me read off another one. Title: Avoid at all costs. The Dumpster Juice Cashier. Rating: 1 star. I recently had the misfortune of encountering what can only be described as the worst cashier experience of my life. Upon entering the store, I was immediately assaulted by a putrid odor that can only be likened to dumpster juice on a hot summer day. The cashier, who looked like she had just crawled out of a landfill. Her disheveled appearance and malevolent grin should have been warning signs enough, but nothing could have prepared me for the stench that emanated from her coochie lands. I handed over my pork roast and washing powder, but the smell was so overwhelming that I could barely breathe, and I threw up in the display toilet next to the counter that I bet she uses. It was like she had bathed in dumpster juice and then rolled around in a pile of rotten eggs for good measure. To make matters worse, the cashier's attitude was as foul as her odor. They were rude, dismissive, and seemed to take pleasure in my discomfort. Needless to say, I will never be returning to this store. I urge anyone reading this to steer clear of the dumpster juice cashier and their vile establishment. Unless, of course, you enjoy being treated like garbage. Is that not enough for you? Here, the district manager sent me this one. Title: Avoid like the plague. The greasy, stinky, incompetent cashier. Rating: 1 star. Let me start by saying that I have never felt compelled to leave a review before, but my experience with this cashier was so unbelievably bad that I feel it is my duty to warn others. First off, this cashier was absolutely terrible at her job. She was slow, incompetent, and seemed to have no idea what the fuck she was doing. It was like she had never operated a cash register before in her life. On top of that, she smelled absolutely horrendous. I'm talking a stench that could knock a buzzard off the gut wagon. It was a nauseating combination of body odor, stale cigarettes, and what I can only assume was a complete disregard for personal hygiene. To make matters worse, the cashier was greasy. I'm not sure if she had just finished a shift at a fast food joint or if she was just naturally oily, but either way, it was not a pleasant sight, and I about slid out of the double doors. In conclusion, I would strongly advise against patronizing this establishment if you value your sanity and sense of smell. The cashier's incompetence, stench, and greasiness are enough to drive anyone away. Do yourself a favor and find somewhere else to shop for your friend chicken apparatus. Let the weight of that sink in. Why the fuck would we want you to continue working here? And those are the tame reviews. There were plenty that said they thought they were in a seafood joint instead of chicken after walking through the door and smelling whatever is between your legs. Do me a favor and get out before you leave a green haze again.